Hey, what's up everybody, it's Enzo Unreal and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a closer look at Resident Evil 2 Remake. I'm a huge survival horror fan and I love for my games to have a little more than just jump scares.
Oh, that bitch is deceased.
We should try to hit you with that child support. Resident Evil 2 Remake is one of those games that does a great job of creating an atmosphere of isolation and dread without relying on cheap tactics to scare you. I'm a longtime fan of the Resident Evil series and got into the franchise when I was about 12 years old. Which probably says a lot about who I am and my taste in movies.
I mean, I've had enough.
I said talk to me, damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
Resident Evil 2 Remake is constantly challenging your skills as a survivor and zombie slayer. While trying to avoid zombies, you also have to watch out for other enemy types in this game. While playing the game, you never really know what's lurking behind each corner. Resident Evil 2 Remake blends the style of a third-person shooter along with horror elements that keeps the player on the edge of their seat. Since this game is meant to be played twice, I'll be splitting this video up into two parts to cover each character's story. So let's just hop right into it. Resident Evil 2 was originally released back in 1998 by Capcom, with its gameplay having fixed camera angles and take-controlled characters. Back in 2015, Capcom had announced that a Resident Evil 2 remake was in the works, and I probably felt the same feeling everyone else felt when Benefit was announced. It sounds good at first, like a feeling of nostalgia, but then you start to ask yourself all these questions like, was this really necessary? Like, what are you guys going to do differently this time? Of course I'm talking about the game though. Aside from getting from point A to point B, the game doesn't have an intricate story besides trying to escape the city. But hey, do we play Resident Evil games for the story or for the thrills? The plot takes place in a town called Raccoon City. Before you start the game, you have a choice to choose between two characters, Leon Kennedy or Claire Redfield, and of course I chose Leon. This game is Leon's origin story for those who are new to the franchise. You see, Leon is just a rookie cop and it's his first day on the job, and I'm sure orientation did not prepare him for this.
Take that shit out of his hand.
We meet Claire Redfield, who is looking for her brother, Chris Redfield. Ring a bell?
Chris? Sorry, Ethan.
A series of unfortunate events occurs which splits our heroes up. We are then thrusted into RPD, which starts our descent into hell. Resident Evil games are best known for their realistic gameplay and strategic combat. The gore and detail they put into this game is pretty gruesome, but honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. When you think games couldn't go far, Resident Evil 2 takes it up a notch by showing you the most gruesome parts of human anatomy. Aside from shooting zombies and trying to stay the hell alive, you also have to figure out how to get out of RPD. The game sort of plays like a giant escape room. Each clue leads to another item, which leads to another item you have to get in order to progress the game. Part of the charm with this game is figuring out the puzzles and being wise with your resource management. If you think you can go into this game guns a-blazing, then you thought wrong. In this game, you're very limited on your ammo and health resources. In fact, this game is trying to kill you at all times. It's encouraged to conserve your ammo and save your bullets for those special enemy encounters. This can also lead to frustration because sometimes you really just need to bust a cap in a zombie's ass to get by them. The zombies in this game can eat a lot of bullets before going down. Even if you do manage to down one, you never know if it can come back up later and attack you. The only way to really know if you down a zombie is to get a clean headshot, but that can rarely happen. The best strategy for me was knifing my enemy's legs until they fall off. Don't worry though, if you thought the game wasn't hard enough, then prepare for it to kick you in the ass with the arrival of Mr. X.
Oh, I knew this was who you was.
Jesus Christ!
Ready to die?
This my shit! All the girls stomp your feet!
He's an unkillable enemy that stalks you throughout the police station, so when you see him, you gotta run the other way and change your game plan. Mr. X is the most intimidating enemy in the game, and probably the most interesting part of it. He can be very annoying to deal with, but that's the fun in learning how to get around him. He's sort of like that person who won't leave you alone when you're just trying to use the restroom.
Smokey, what the hell you doing back here? Hey, nothing, man. Hey, I'm fixing something. Hey, just stay over there. But I thought you wanted me to wash your car. Hey, man, wash it later. Stay over there. Smokey, you know I ain't the smartest man in the world, but from over here, it look like you taking a shit. Ezel, get the hell on my back.
Mr. X creates a real sense of fear as you hear his footsteps all around the police station. When he does pop up, you aren't given much time to think, as you gotta change up your tactics on the spot. Sometimes you just gotta run and hope for the best. There aren't many characters featured in Resident Evil 2. Why? Well, mostly everyone introduced doesn't last very long. But that's the point. You're really just in this scenario of isolation, and the only way to survive is to move forward. In Leon's scenario, you find your way to the police station where you meet Marvin. It's clear when you meet him that he isn't going to last very long. With him being your only living source of company, it just creates a slow feeling of dread. You mostly meet the same characters as you would in Claire's scenario, with some exceptions being Ada Wong. When you meet her, not much is known about her. Hell, even after you meet her, you still don't really know much about her. You do get to play as Ada later on in the game, but it's a very short-lived segment. One big complaint I have with this game is the original background track being locked behind a paywall. It's quite criminal how drastic the original background track changes the atmosphere completely in the game. There was no way I could ever switch back to the remake's music. Here's a good example. The save room in this game has absolutely zero music playing in the back. Now listen when you switch the music back to Remake. Big difference, right? Yes, to get the better background track, you have to pay for it, which isn't cool. However, the background score works wonders by giving the game a whole new vibe. Here's a quick segment of good sound design. Resident Evil 2 Remake is a very fun game and one I had a good time with. While I do wish the game was a little longer, it wasn't one that didn't overstay its welcome. If you haven't already, then I highly recommend checking out the game. I'm Enzo and Real. If you guys liked the video, you already know what to do. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for part 2.